Yo, what is up everyone? Starry right here and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something different. I haven't talked about baseball on this channel at all. I think I've only mentioned the Dodgers once on this channel as well. So yeah, we're doing a baseball video. Today we're doing Dodgers awards. We're giving out 6 awards to 6 different players. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I watched a lot of Dodgers this year. I am a casual, so this was like my first year of actually watching Dodgers and even baseball. This is my first year of really getting into it. So yeah, I'm a casual, so these words may be I just take my awards with the grain of salt, you know. I don't know everything, and I'm still learning. I'm just a casual, you know. I'm not hardcore baseball fan, so all these awards are just gonna be from a casual viewpoint. But before we get into this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I do other sports videos. I cover the Steelers and I do NFL weekly predictions, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. So we're gonna start off with the first award, probably the most important award in every sport, the MVP award. And this one was pretty easy for me to give out. It's going to Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman is the Dodgers MVP this season. He played so good this year, so consistent. That's why I'm giving him this award though. He was so consistent. You knew what you're gonna get with Freddie Freeman every time he was at bat. Freddie Freeman's just a hitting machine. He's always hitting the ball. He's always getting runs. He's always batting runs in, you know. He's really good, and he was just so consistent, and that's why I have to give him this award. And he didn't have, you know, he was just consistent. He may have not made the flashiest plays, you know, but you know, he was just so consistent. That's what you want from you know, your players. As if you're the manager, you just want consistency. That's the most important thing, and Freddie Freeman was so consistent. He had 116 runs at 608 at bats, which is pretty good in my opinion. He had 20 home runs and he had 98 runs batted in. So he was playing really good. I have the stats here looking at him, but yeah, just from my eyes, just from even not forget the stats, just watching the games, eye test, you knew that he was consistent. Every game he was super consistent, and that's why I had to have him as MVP. Mookie Betts was a second person to have as MVP. He was just really good, you know, and some of the plays that he was making out in the outfield were just kind of crazy. The dives he was making, the slides he was making was just kind of crazy. It was really crazy of him. Yeah, Mookie Betts is always solid though. Sometimes I felt like he was swinging a little too much. He was just swinging, you know, he was just swinging at anything that was thrown. But you know, he's rounded out the season. He started off really good. If you remember that, I think like around like I don't know, at some point him and like Aaron Judge were like leading home runs. Obviously Mookie Betts slowed down and Aaron Judge just kept on soaring. But there was a point in time where Mookie Betts and Aaron Judge were like just tied with like home runs. I think they were kind of like, it was like 18 to 20 or something. It was very close, or maybe like 15 to 20. It was pretty close. Mookie Betts ended the season with 35 home runs. I want to acknowledge another player for MVP. He was probably never going to win it, but Trey Turner was also super consistent. If I'm talking about consistency, I gotta bring up Trey Turner. Him and Freddie Freeman were like having a hit off at one point in the season. Freeman ended up, you know, passing him by a lot, but Trey Turner was really close up there. He was super consistent as well, especially at shortstop. He was really good at shortstop. I didn't even mention Freddie Freeman at first base. Like he's perfect at first base. He's just so consistent, and I think like the Braves called him Mr. Consistent. Yeah, Freddie Freeman was so good, but Trey Turner was also really good, so I got to give him his flowers for MVP conversation because he was pretty good. After that, we're gonna move on to the Cy Young Award. This is kind of easy for me to pick. I had one person in mind, and then when I looked at the stats, it could have gone any other way, but I'm going Julio Urias for Cy Young Award. He played really good. Yeah, he was just, as like I said with Freddie Freeman, consistency is important, and Julio Urias was really consistent as well. He had 17 wins and 7 losses, which is kind of, you know, which is pretty good honestly. But when you look it up to like Tony and Gonzelin, who had 16 and 1, you know, it's a little like that. But he was really good. I really liked Urias when he was playing. One of my favorite moments of Urias's came in Washington against Juan Soto. It was a fun moment where he was pitching to Juan Soto, and they were kind of having this like little like stare off and stuff. It was really fun, and I think Urias even struck him out, which was kind of crazy because Juan Soto was a walking machine in Washington. So yeah, that was a really fun game, and I really love that moment a lot. That moment sticks out to me. Urias didn't have a perfect season. I remember there's one game at Dodger Stadium where he, like, in the first inning, he had like 3 home runs on him. Like, it was pretty bad. But then he settled down, and I think he pitched like the rest of the innings. He pitched like 4 more innings, but he hasn't been always perfect. But when he started to round it out, especially at the end of the season, I think I saw a tweet where like he was 14-1. I think he ended the season like at starts. He was 14-1 to end the season, which is that's super good. So yeah, Urias was really, really good. One of my favorite players on the Dodgers. I really hope we keep him. I saw reports that we might not be able to keep him because of we have to pay other players. So hopefully we're somehow able to keep Urias, because he was a great pitcher. We're sticking with pitching, and the next award we are giving is reliever of the year. This one was very easy to pick. I had a favorite pick as well, but when you look at the stats, it's very simple. Evan Phillips was really, really good at pitching and relieving us. Evan Phillips, just by far, he was the best reliever that we had this year, a standout from the rest. The pick that I would have made, just like a biased pick, was Alex Vesia. I really liked Alex Vesia's game, but when you compare it to Evan Phillips, he doesn't stack up at all. So by far, Evan Phillips was the best reliever this season for the Dodgers, and it's really, like, if you were watching the games, you knew how good he was. Yeah, he was really, really good. The next award that I'm giving out is most surprising player. Now, this award is kind of hard for me to pick because obviously, like I said, this is my first year watching Dodgers baseball, so I guess you can say all these players were kind of surprising to me. I was just kind of learning them, but there are 3 standout players that I have. I'm gonna start with the 2 most clear-cut answers for most surprising players: Tony Gonzelin and Tyler Anderson. Great at pitchers, really, really great pitchers. Specifically Tyler Anderson, I remember one game where he almost pitched the whole game. That was crazy. I think once, I know it wasn't once, it was Ohtani. It was against the Angels, and Ohtani broke it, I think. Yeah, that was a really fun game. I remember staying up watching that one, and it was super fun. He almost pitched like a clean game. It was super fun. But yeah, Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson are super clean. Tony Gonsolin's had 16 wins and 1 loss. That's so amazing. Like, yeah, he was really, really good. And Tyler Anderson was really good. Like I said, they're both really, really good this season. Their ERAs and their whips were just clean. They were super clean. Yeah, those 2 are like clear. I think everyone's probably going to have them as just surprising players. Another person that I want to give this award to is Joey Gallo. I want to give Joey Gallo this award just because of all the negativity that his name had around him. I didn't think he was a good player. Coming in, the Yankees had me convinced that he wasn't, like, he was washed, and the Dodgers really spun his career around, I guess you can say. He started off pretty good. He's a good player for us now. He's actually like a solid role player for us, starting player, I guess you can say. But yeah, he's really, really good for us, and he's defensively, he's always out there making plays as well. You can't take that away from him. And then batting offensively, he's been pretty good. He has 47 RBIs and 19 home runs, which is pretty good, and 47 runs. So he's been pretty good. Yeah, it's just like Joey Gallo, I was convinced that he wasn't a good player, and I was like, oh man, what are we getting? But then the Dodgers fixed him. Honestly, the Dodgers fixed him. So I'm super, like, I was surprised by Joey Gallo. Now we move on to the last 2 awards, and those 2 are negative awards. You do not want to win these awards. We have most disappointing player. For me, I have 2 people in mind for the most disappointing player award, and that is Dustin May. Dustin May really disappointed me. I had a lot of hype for him. The commentators and everyone on Twitter and just Dodger fandom was hyping up Dustin May, and like I said, this is my first year really watching Dodger baseball, so I didn't have I was just believing in the hype. And the one game that I watched him play, it was around the time that I think it was around his comeback, and they were doing like bobblehead night later on, and he was just kind of bad. I think it was against the Padres, where it was a rainy game and he just had no control of the ball. It was raining, so you do give him some slack, but he just looked really, really bad that game. And I was disappointed in Dustin May because like the commercials and everything were hyping up Dustin May extremely, and he just didn't live up to the hype. So yeah, and when you look at his ERA, it's pretty bad. So yeah, Dustin May is a player that I could be completely wrong about. Obviously, people were hype about him for a reason, so there's probably still some hype around there. But the game that I saw, I think that was the only game I really saw of him. I think I may have saw another game, and he didn't look that good as well. So yeah, Dustin May is the one player that's like stands out the most for me when I was trying to complete this list of the most disappointing. The other person on this list is probably someone that is maybe on everybody's list, Cody Bellinger. He was an up and down player. He was not consistent at all, and yeah, he stands out as most disappointing player because just, you know, he's up and down. Sometimes you like when you really wanted to get a run, he couldn't do it. But then like just some games he would have a crazy game and he would hit a walk-off home run, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, Cody Bellinger was up and down extremely, but his defense was always there. His defense was always there in center field. He was really good. So you know you gotta take that. But yeah, he was disappointing offensively for sure. And lastly, we end off with worst player, which is I think a very easy pick. And that is going to be Craig Kimbrell. He was obviously the worst player. He was the closer, and I think everybody knew that we did not want this guy closing out the games because he was just not good. He was bad at closing. He was really bad at closing. Yeah, too many games were lost that we should have won. Too many walks. You know, it was just bad. It was just all bad every time. Everybody, even on Twitter, was just making fun of him, and it was just a very bad scene. Yeah, Kimbrell was just not a great closer for us. Hopefully I don't think he's going to be closing for us in the playoffs. I hope not, but yeah, he was just kind of bad. Obviously the standout worst player that I can, like, when you look at the roster, he was the worst player. But yeah, that is the 6 awards I got for this Dodgers season. It was a really fun season. I watched a majority of the games. I was always locked in when the games mattered, and it was a lot of fun. There was some obviously standout moments. One of the moments that was I guess emotional, I guess you can say, but also kind of like just like very interesting to see how it is handled. There was 2 actually, now that I think about it, but the first one I was thinking about was Freddie Freeman's first game back in Atlanta. That was a very crazy game. It was very emotional for him, and that was a fun game to watch as well. I'm not sure if we won that game. I think we may have lost. Also, another game that was kind of very emotional as well was the Vin Scully game. That was a very emotional game as well. Obviously, I don't have any emotional attachment to him, but it's still sad to see for Dodger fans. You know, I didn't grow up watching baseball, and but you know, I can still respect history. So you know, rest in peace to him. But then another standout moment was the All-Star game, I guess you can say, and just kind of All-Star hype when the Dodgers were reportedly going to get Juan Soto. You know, there was a lot of hype around that. That was a lot of fun. I really thought we were going to get him at one point. But you know, I'm happy with the way we turned out. We're the best team in the NL. You know, we were really good. But overall, yeah, I was really happy with this Dodgers season. I can't wait to see what they do this postseason. I'm gonna be watching every game for sure. Let me know in the comments who you would give these awards to. Who do you have? Do you have the same picks as me or not? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Hope to do more Dodger videos in the future. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye.